Okay, hello and welcome to another how-to video. I'm Ditech, Technical Director at DVS, and yes, it is 6 o'clock in the morning here in the not-so-rainy UK. The nights are definitely drawing out, or drawing in, whichever way you want to look at it. So yeah, it is darker a lot later and a lot earlier here in the UK as we head into the autumn and winter months. But that's perfect for video content. So, what are we looking at today? You did see a sneak peek of this little fella a couple of weeks ago when we did it through the Meta glasses, if you were one of those lucky ones that did view it. And of course, if you want one of these cool Hikvision Guanlan hoodies, stay tuned for some details from our marketing team of how you can get your hands on one of these fantastic hoodies, keeping us warm in this lovely colder weather. So, this is the new twin cam from Hikvision. We showed you a sneak peek before, and now we're going to give you the proper run through video. What is it? Now, this are two 4 megapixel independent turret cameras. So the idea being it's one base, one cable, one PoE connection, 2 cameras. Of course, if you add it to your recorder, so an NVR, it will take up 2 channels, or a hybrid DVR for instance, it still will take up 2 channels. They are 2 independent 4 megapixel cameras. There are more cameras coming in this range, so stay tuned for this expansive range. Now, one of the fantastic reasons I really wanted to show you this video, when we jump onto the camera web browser, you will for sure see that functionality. Each camera has the ability to have either the 2.4mm lens or the 4mm lens. Therefore, it gives you, the customer, the ability to choose the scene that you need to cover your application. Why is that important? Now, of course, most of you know we have to stock a lot of 2.4mm and 2.8mm and 4mm cameras because it depends on the sort of the field of view that you're trying to cover as to what lens type is most appropriate. This camera allows you to do both. Inside the camera, you simply go into the web browser and you use the PTZ functionality in the web browser or on the app, which allows you to zoom in like a motorized zoom lens effectively to choose a narrower field of view, and therefore give you a little bit more detail in a much small, or not much smaller, but a smaller area, for instance. So they call this technology point-to-point. There are more cameras that are coming out in the range with this point-to-point technology. It's not just this dual camera setup. We are actually having some turret cameras and some bullet cameras that are having the soon-to-be patented point-to-point technology. So you web browse into the camera and you select the lens size that's appropriate for that application. Takes the choice out of it, or takes the determination of that camera, and it also helps, you know, us as a distributor stock less camera choices. So once we fitted this camera base, there are different brackets available for this. There's an adapter plate that goes on here should you want to fit it to a wall mount bracket. So if you needed to fit it to a wall or like a PTZ mount, there is an adapter plate that allows you to do that. Again, contact your DVS sales rep and they will be able to give you more details on that. So, once you've fitted the camera, one cable, powered it up, there's 2 lock-in screws there, and I've got my very handy Hikvision toolkit with me. It is getting quite cold actually now. So you can see there's 2 lock-in screws. So if I bring you closer, you can see there is 2 lock-in screws on each camera, one on each camera. Once you've loosened it, this allows you to rotate the camera up and down, and hopefully you can still see this. You can rotate the camera left, right, as required, up, down, move it, and obviously you've got the 3-axis adjustment, so you can adjust it on the gimbal as well to give you that field of view that you need. So I'm just going to adjust it, so something like that, one looking that way, one looking that way. We're going to simply lock it in, so take your security screwdriver set. Once you're happy with that view, lock it in there. Lock it in there, and there we go, nice and solid. So these are there's IR white light. They're not programmed to come on now, which is when you're trying to make a video and you have, you know, the white light coming on there, that will interrupt the video and it become, well, they glare me out, and nobody wants to glare Dave out, do they? But they are available, so it's like a hybrid camera, so IR and white light. There's different options depending on the camera choice. So it's as simple as that. One cable, fit it to where you need to. Luckily this Ultron gantry works really well for us. Fit it to there, one cable, powered up, 2 channels on the recorder, 1 channel on Hike Central, Yep, one channel if you're using Hike Central. And then adjust the cameras as needed, and away we go. Now, like I said, there are different versions of this available. Turrets and bullet cameras, and different two versions of this actual twin lens camera. There's lots of names for it. You can be inventive and create your own name. I'm not going to say it on camera, but you get the idea. It comes with the same benefits, like you know, the color view technology, hybrid light, you know, the better VCA, it's got anti-corrosive coating on there, all the benefits you see on the modern camera technology. So we're really excited. These are on order. They will be in stock very shortly, which is why I'm making this video now. And we've had a lot of demand for an actual video on this, following on from that little tease that we did. So we're going to go inside now, because it is getting a bit cold and before it rains, and I'm going to show you what this camera does through the power of the web browser. So stay tuned, and we'll be back very shortly. Okay, so we've moved inside now, so I'm going to access the camera through the web browser. We have quite a restrictive IT, so I've had to go into a sandbox PC to go into the web browser of the PC. So there's a screen within a screen, so I do apologise, but that's the way it is, you know, corporate IT and all. So the spec sheet of the camera, this is that camera that we talked about. So it does this particular model, 4 megapixel dual lens, fixed point zoom turret network camera, AccuSense 3.0, powered by Darkfighter. So 2.8 to 4mm camera, so I can show you the functionality of that in a minute. It does have anti-corrosion design, so the NEMA 4X coating. A lot of our run rate cameras now have that anti-corrosive coating on there. So dual microphone array for a clearer and more defined audio. People and vehicle classification through the VCA, yes, of course. It gives you some information about the camera. I'm not going to go on it too much. It's more just to show you. So this is the IR up to 30 meters per camera. Now, I did say on the video, if you noticed at the beginning, it was the dual lens hybrid. That's not the one I've got fitted, actually. This is the standard IR one. The dual lens hybrid one will be out shortly, but it is IR. But they are turned off. But I'll show you that in a minute. And again, standard spec sheet tells you everything you need to know. And then the bracket options available, and of course how you can fit it: ceiling, corner, pole, PTZ, wall mount bracket, etc, etc, etc. So if I go into the camera itself, like I said, there's two cameras on there. So if I press play, now they'll load in the mainstream. They are 4 megapixel, two cameras. This isn't the best PC to do this on, but they will load eventually. I think we have got a container in. Since I started filming the video and got inside, a container has arrived. Okay. Let's put these into substream. Let's see if that loads in substream mode. There we go. It's in substream mode. Again, the PC I'm using is not the best. You can see we've actually got people coming in now. The container's there ready to go. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. But you can see when I started the video, I moved them. So one covers more to the left, one covers more to the right. And again, two cameras in one. Now, if I stop the live view, let's make this into a full screen. Put these back to mainstream on here. So if I look at the first one, this is how you adjust the lens size. Just wait for the video to start. And again, this might take a second. Now, I can make it quicker. If I uninstall the web plugin and reinstall it, it probably will be quicker. There's quite a different few web plugins at the minute, as most of you know. Yeah, I might just do the web plugin to make this a little bit quicker. Okay, so I've reinstalled the web plugin. It's much easier just to do that. It also had Hike Central Lite installed, so I've uninstalled that because it's only a test PC, didn't need it. So if I double click on this camera here, we'll load the main view. So you can see that's in the main view now. It's as simple as this. To adjust the zoom or the view from a 2.8 to 4mm, just use the zoom button. It works on the Hike Connect app, it works on our software, and it works on the web browser and the NVR front end. So I can just adjust the setting there, wait for it to autofocus. So that is now a 4mm lens. So I can adjust that. It does, like I said, it narrows the field of view, but you condense that pixel area into a small area, and then technically you get more detail, you know, per square inch or per square pixel, or inch, however you want to say it. So it's really up to you. The power is now in your control. But again, if I want a wider view, I can simply zoom it back out to the 2.8mm. And I do want it on the wider view. I want to cover a big, more expansive area because I do want to see my boundaries. And again, if I stop that, or if I look at the second camera, I can do exactly the same. So I can zoom in. And again, that's now a 4mm, so I could adjust the view appropriately if that wasn't the view. But you can see the difference. It's super, super easy to do. And now that's focused. You can see it takes a little bit of time, but it's now focused. And again, we have got a delivery. Now, if I move it back to 2.8mm, if you do it through the app or the NVR, of course, like I said, we're on a PC within a PC, so there's a bit of a time delay. But again, on the app, it is really responsive. The customer can do this themselves, but again, they risk making the field of view narrow and missing some of the potential crucial area. But that is how easy and how convenient this new camera range is. There are several models coming out that have this point-to-point technology, they call it, which allows you, as the installer or the customer, to choose a 2.8mm lens or a 4mm lens, and it allows us as a distributor to carry one model range because the power is now in your hands, and it's much more simplified, and it's a much more inclusive camera range. What a fantastic idea. So well done to Hikvision for coming up with that idea. It's not a true varifocal lens, but it does allow you to adjust it as we just shown. Other than that, it's a standard web browser functionality. So if I go into configuration, you've got all of the standard functionality that you know and understand within the Hikvision product range yourself. So you've got two cameras, channel 1 and channel 2. So again, they're 4 megapixel, adjust it as required. I always use H.265. I don't use the H.265 Plus. I think it brings more problems than it solves. I've been quite vocal about that in the past, so I never use that. So H.264 or H.265 for me. But again, if you want to adjust camera 1, adjust as needed. Just camera 2, main and substream settings there. Now, from the image settings, on the common settings, these are the most common settings that most people will set. They're also available under the expanded menus along the bottom here. So if I go into local, again, I can show rules, display pause, auto start, live view, and yes, I normally have them on because when you're on the web browser, you see the VCA effect. System settings, so again, camera, firmware, etc. It is on the latest firmware. Always make sure you are on the latest firmware. Time settings, location, again, you can put the longitude and latitude in there. Network settings, so standard network settings, network services, and again, platform access. I've got it added to Hike Connect on the app already. ISUP allows us to connect to our Hike Central platform generally. Video and audio, again, it's like up there. So again, set the settings. There's a few more functions in the actual menu rather than the common settings. You've got the audio. Yes, if you enable audio recording, please make sure you put appropriate signage up. We do have the appropriate signage from our friends at Hayden in stock at DVS. So please do speak to your DVS sales rep. So video and audio warning signs available. So you've got the mic in connected there, and then you've got input volume and output volume for the audio. Region of interest and display info on stream, etc. You've got your image settings, again, very standard. You know how to do this. A day-night switch, auto, filtering time, sensitivity, supplement light, so it's IR supplement light on or off, and then manual brightness. I always put it up to 100%, but again, it's up to you. Day-night switch, I put it as, I leave it, to be honest, mostly I leave it in daytime because of the strong light we have in the DVS compound. And again, set this required stuff as needed. If you are using an SD card in storage management, format it and then set up the recording schedule in this submenu. Again, continuous or event recording available. If it is a critical camera, please do buy an SD card. We stock the Hikvision SD cards. We stock 32, 64, 128, and we've added 512 gigabyte into our range. There is also some cameras that now accept 1 terabyte SD cards. It's critically important that if the recorder or network connection goes down, or the recorder fails, hard drives fail, the recorder's stolen in the worst event, if you have an SD card in the camera, the footage is recoverable from the SD card, and therefore you have a much greater chance of getting that evidence you may need for a prosecution. So if it is a critical camera, please do put the SD card in the camera as well. They cost pennies in this day and age. Okay, so, or you can do the event. So we've got event detection, motion detection, video tampering, and exception alarms like the SD card exceptions. Oops, sorry. SD card exceptions, etc. Okay, so super simple to use. Apologies about that, the phone rang, I forgot to put it on silent. Again, so, and then maintenance and security is where you do your backups, restores, resets, you know, firmware upgrades, etc. All in there. I'm not going to go through every single function, you know what that is. And then playback, if you've got an SD card in there, you've got the SD card in there for playback locally in the camera and retrieving and downloading of that said footage. So, on each camera, you can set it for smart events, so they're independent. On the old models, they were like mutually exclusive, so you could do one thing with one and not the other. On these cameras, they're treated as 2 separate channels when you add it to the recorder, and therefore they have their own VCA. Both can do face capture, both can do their own smart events, or both can just be set to plain old monitoring, which is video only. Now, if I want to set the application for smart event, I click next. Go into general settings, and that's where you set up like your camera information, FTP if you're using an FTP site, email alarms, audible alarm output, and that's where you put your, you know, your schedules, your volumes. When a VCA is detected, what do you want to play from a warning and a light perspective? So I've just set it to danger, please keep away. Alarm server, installation parameter, so how high off the ground is it? So 4.5 meters. Metadata, yes. Flashing, if you want to use the flashing light alarm, yes. And then AccuSearch if you're using that functionality on both channels, yes or no. So once you've set the general settings, in the smart event itself, you can have intrusion, line detection, region entrance, region exit, or combined event. Now, on the combined event, this is like and/or. So what you can do is you set intrusion detection and line crossing, for instance, and in the combined event, it has to have like 2 different events trigger at the appropriate time to then cause the actual alarm. So it's like a, you know, combined alarm, cause and effect effectively, yeah? A lot of the recorders support it, and now the cameras are actually having it added in as well. But on the latest recorders, they already have that functionality. So as you can see there, intrusion detection, I can set an intrusion detection, which I have there, and they're turning up now to get ready for this container. But I've got that detection box there, so anyone that walks in this area, vehicle, human or others, threshold, they've got to be in there for like 1 second or 6 seconds. Let's change it to 2 or more seconds. Sensitivity 50. Target validity is basic, and alarm interval, I turn that off. And click save. Let's enable that. Click save. So anyone that walks in that area, the camera now will flash and shout that alarm. I'm in schedule. Notify surveillance center, so that's the app, software, and our recorder. Flash and alarm, yes. Audio linkage, yes. Click save, and that's done. It's as simple as that. And then you can set the schedule there also. So if you don't want it 24/7, you can set it there. You can also arm and disarm it through an NVR that supports 1 key disarming. So from the app, when you disarm everything, you can also arm it from the master NVR, which arms and disarms the flashing light and audio functionality with any camera that's added to it. That's a different story. And again, I could do the same for camera 2. So enable it. Yes. That's the area detection. Yes. 2 seconds. Yes. Save it. That's now armed 24/7. And in the combined event, you can select enable at least 1 perimeter protection event. So you can add the rules list here. Add it. So rule 1, enable, sub event list, intrusion detection. So alarms, intrusion detection, rule 1, 2, 3, 4. and then alarm interval. So you just make the rule up depending. So it's really simple. I'm not going to do it because I want them to go off straight away. But you can combine events on the cameras, you can see there, to make a verified alarm, if that's want of a better word. So that is effectively the latest and greatest new twin point-to-point camera. I hope you enjoyed the video. And again, if I go back to the main view, might be somebody walking around now. So if I just start the live view on both of the camera channels here, might take a minute because they're both, you can see there, it's detecting the objects, they are unloading the container. Say the network is not the best how we're doing it, but if he goes in that area, the alarm will be triggered, the camera will shout at him. You can see there the network's not the best here. Camera light will flash at him now, job, and we got a full container. Great to see. And that, I hope you enjoyed the video. The most important point of this video was to highlight this new camera technology and the ability to make it between a 2.8 and a 4mm lens. Any questions? Drop us a comment, contact at dvs.co.uk or speak to your DVS sales rep. See you soon for another how-to video.